Smart people like the wind. Of course, I understand his intentions. He could not help but silently exclaim. To remain silent, but still guarantee the right to speak in the conversation. He is also a master. Think and gently flutter the fan in your hand. Master Feng laughed and said, Of course, the butler's name is not equal to meeting. More often than not, I hear the name of the Lord. General Jia-san praised your great name. It is thunder across the ears. Most likely, he would shake his head with him. Jia-san's school of laughing. Sigh in front of a wise man. No hidden words. Let's not use this kind of talk anymore. If not, maybe this conversation should last for 3 days and 3 nights. It's not over. Most probably people also nod and laugh. The Prime Minister is fast. I think so too. Jia Chongfeng did not hesitate. Get straight to the point. This time the housekeeper came to participate in the 100 Min paintings. I'm afraid there's someone behind it. Oh, why are you so sure? Most likely, he laughed. Jia-san's school maple eyebrow tenderness said. Because you and I are the masters of the universe. Although the old lady believed he had talent like the butler track. It's a matter of getting lost sooner or later. Later, it exceeded 7. It's not impossible. But this moment jumps out. It's obviously too early. With the heart of the butler track. There's no way you're working. Just for the benefit in front of you. There must be some kind of seduction. That makes it impossible not to do that. I think it is most likely to be transparent. Of course, this man can't talk to him. He can hold it all in his hands. See through everything. It is also possible to seduce or coerce unsuspecting artists. It's all perfectly accurate. Reasons like that. It is because he does not want to lose the 7. Or guilty of 7. Except for the wind. Maybe no one thought of it. It's going to grow across the 7 worlds. You're both smart people. You don't have to pretend either. Laughing softly, a voice of admiration. The Prime Minister is right for real. Probably betrayed. Jia-san's school wins slowly jacket. Chuckle. The butler must have been too kind. I've been following this religion for many years and have some understanding. Na Bai was with Butler Juo at a young age. Shouldered the glory and shame of a family alone. Really makes the old man admire endlessly, ha ha ha. So what does Prime Minister Zhu Ziyang really mean in these words? Most certainly Fan raised eyebrows and asked back. His words were not yet finished. The chiefs quickly interrupted. I mean, watch out for the person behind you. 290 Conversations of the Wise. Most certainly the common man stared blankly. His intention was to keep him on guard against the old emperor. But that, the person in front of you, is the 7. This is not him wanting to betray Cao. Why basic? It's impossible to guess the purpose of the wind farm. It's like knowing your mind. Jia-san's school wind again spoke. I know in the heart of the butler there is doubt. The old man's words were suspicious. What do you do? Who is so kind? Think for others. Yes, the old man has his own heart, but please rest assured, the housekeepers, your enemy is not you. Even if we have the same enemy. Oh, What's that word? Most likely, he raised his eyebrows. Master Feng laughed softly and said casually, "Stork boys compete with profitable fishermen. I think the butler knows this better than anyone. Do you want to be a fisherman, or a fisherman?" "I'm just talking here. Convinced that, with the intelligence of the butler track, maybe it's not hard for you to understand." Most likely touching the chin thinking, this is his word. It really does solve a lot of problems. But he wouldn't say raw, he just laughed softly. Jia San's school Feng look why. I know he understood what he said. Pleased to nod. He stood up and laughed, ha ha ha. It's hard to talk to smart people. Track the butler. The old man said only one thing today. I report from here. But there's still one thing. I always think in my heart. Please answer for the old man. Keep it straight. Most certainly not waiting for pleasure. Jia San Chief Maple Mouth fluttered gently, fan in hand. The face is a little serious. He is a prime minister of a country. The god of impermanent death. You are the king's steward, and you are his steward. Lost. 3 of us are fellow human beings. They all point the pain to others. It's Ward 7. But the old man and the impermanent leader have their own heart. It's just that the time hasn't come yet. It can't be done. But with the re-rolling of the butler track, why are you willing to stay lost? According to the old man, you are not bastards for love. This is really confusing to the old man. The eyes trembling the most, take a deep breath. Think for a moment. Suddenly there was a strange smile almost every word. Because my heart is much bigger than yours. Jia San's school Maple first time look. Not understanding others. Body trembling. To grips tightly to the right. Fuzzy Yang. He seemed to see him like that for the first time. A little startled. Looking at the surest side of the world is a little unkind. A strong intent to strike. But most probably still calmly sitting there. There is no fear. The right pupil suddenly flashed, emitting a pale yellow light against the Kier-S killing machine. Wait, the situation is not right. The farmer hurried to stop. The old man doesn't know. How big is your heart after all? But I'm looking forward to that day. I hope it's not a paranoid dream. Already said. The old man's hand turned and he left. He was also in a hurry to chase. Waiting to leave the bar. One of the fake guys. He looked at the sand and said, "Prime Minister, why don't you let them deal with him? That kid's air is really crazy." The old man felt that he didn't seem to be boasting. Jia San's school wind muttered. But what is his purpose after all? With the power of, he can completely claim the title of king. But you're always in the middle of nowhere. It's because of Sao. Hey, this guy seems to be the first person ever. The old man couldn't see through. He looked at each other and did not dare to speak. Afraid of disturbing him. It's just that he's still the same. Not even one more word. One aspect in a ring in Van Longthen. A continuous sound of announcements. Plus the applause of the crowd. in the ring is to award a body pose. A few drops of breathless sweat appeared on his face. Next to her is a young boy, approximately 56 years old. It's just a three-part plot. This man is the fifth adopted son of a lone warrior. God has been with him for 5 years. Thien Vu 5 Wild Tiger Van Hai. There are more than 20 young people around them. Van Hai to the sixth is also just the scene. But the hunting body is much sharper than the sea otter. Sharp eyes cold. Like someone who has been through life and death many times. Only used to sixth for important scenes. Was able to destroy the people in the 9-part plot. Of course, this power does not dare to underestimate. This is the people who are in charge. Training Ra. Lost Dung Hai to come next to the miscellaneous often interested in. Why not? Is the gentle reward of looking at her brother? Shaking your head gently. And high. After all, the enemy is a few hundred people. There are also many 8 to 9 players. I'm just a little tired. Right now. A fake old man in white school slowly announced. There are 2 families fighting this time. The winner is a lost man. The voice has ended. The sound of a chatter. The surrounding immediately echoed endlessly. This is the 28th consecutive victory of the lost family. I can't even imagine. The day before, they were 3. That's right, and besides, heard, first of all, their master's not even on the floor yet. The young butler's name must be familiar. Heard, it is equal to the 6th longest phoenix of the 7 kingdoms. He is called the 7th dragon of heaven. Soong Tian Ma Long. What is the power of the family so strong? They weren't famous before. They're hanging around in rows of 5 or 3. At the same time on a radio station. Familiar shadows. Observe the school below. This is one of the 6 oldest. Thank God. Next to him is his brother. Thank heaven and stop Wang weather. Lord, look down at the ring. Smiling for an hour. Ha ha ha. There's something certain about that kid who cheated on me. The Kier family, it is considered to be in row 5 to 2. But still lost out to a few more enemies. Turn the tide. If this is 3 generations, what's 2 generations? It doesn't stop. Not too much to stop. Look at him, look at the ring. There's a little magic in my eyes. At Sao there is no CA. He's not in Sao. Thank God you heard her mention. The ugly face said stop. Why do you keep talking about him forever? At this time, God is watching a sword. The tent speaks out. Look out, that rumor is true around the ghost long. Probably no longer in the world, really. What a rumor. The snow stopped and I asked urgently. The devil mused, a cold battle said. Rumors 5 years ago. You must have been lost. He's buried there. It is a shame to hear you praise him like that. I also want to meet you. Let's see what his power is. There is no grace to meet. CA didn't even wait for him to finish. The sky next to him hurriedly cut in. Then turn around and look back at the mirror. This moment in her eyes was filled with tears. I can't believe it. It's impossible. There's no way the CA won't have a problem. 291 were noticed. I am glad to see you cry a little. Sigh a sigh of consolation. Stop. Don't provoke him. We just don't know where. No one's found his body yet. But she couldn't hear her ears. Immediately grumpy thing Duong CA. Why didn't you tell me? It's about the CA. Thank heaven for a sigh. Or I'm afraid that you'll be hurt. I can't even answer the question. Suddenly there was a loud laughter in the back. That's why you should tell her sooner. Better short pain than long pain. Maybe you don't know. Lingering velvet nostalgia, it just makes women suffer more or worse. By the sound of looking back, everyone saw a teenager leading the way. There is still a happy smile on her face. Then there are the Dragon Master and the Dragon Devil. God sees you coming. Then he squinted his eyes and said, the potential of another. Long March Van. Heard the name for a long time. Anyway, he just said, put your hand on the sword at the same time. As if he wanted to fight immediately. The old man saw his actions. The surgeon sighed. Hurry to stop this, don't. We are in the same alliance. Don't you just meet me and draw your sword. Thank heaven that clicked its tongue. It's as if there's a little bit of a 7-letter mouth. Sorry to meet the master. I don't want to hold it. Late match now. I've already desecrated 7 ceremonies. The name of the fighter you wrote down earlier. You must have written your mouth, right? Long Onions Van sweat too much also do not notice. He had heard of this master swordsman. It's no wonder that I just met you and wanted to try. Then he took a few steps forward. I didn't pay attention either. Lord, look down at the ring. Sighing said, I have also heard of the Holy Ghost. Long must have been a long time ago. I wanted to open my eyes a little bit this time. But unfortunately, Ra didn't have the grace to meet. Why do you say that? Maybe you also think Big Ka is definitely dead. Sao? His body hasn't been found yet. The snow stopped speaking urgently. Long Onion reluctantly shook his head. The face seriously said, the person who dies in the wilderness is not dead. If you are lucky to survive, like 9 years ago, should appear at this martial arts show. But in 28 battles of the Lost Family, he didn't show his face once. That's 27 games. But this 28th match, even though the Lost Family won, but they're also very hard. In a situation like this, he still doesn't show up. We can only assume that he is no longer in this world. The Lord heard this word. Body cheating one. Not willing to believe this is true. In her heart, she knew he was right. She can't argue at all. Thinking about it in my heart causes more pain. My eyes are bleeding to rows of hot tears. Suddenly right now, Long March Van looked at the heavenly sky and said this. You think the lost? Sure, still deserve to be our ally, Sao. The evil angel said with a cold face. In my eyes, Allies don't matter. Only those who deserve to fight or not. Hey ha ha ha, no tiger is Marshalsea. Laughing for 2 hours. Then look at the sky and ask you why. Thank heaven and Yang did not hesitate. Speak up immediately. I don't care what you think. We and nature are brothers. If he really is no more, I just hope the dead can safely leave this place. Well, the 2 men standing are affectionate. The dragon nodded and laughed for an hour. Then he looked up at the deep opposite floor and said, "There's something about potential allies. We are sure. Without him, this treaty of alliance cannot be established. Will the United States continue that treaty or not? We have to see their later performance. But I'm afraid it's hard for them to wait until later. Look at that little clan that wasn't protected by the ghost. Has been attacked by some of the most ferocious dragons in this place. Keep an eye on it. Kim How food to men. The man is sure. Will he get food from the hands of the evil dragons?" Not even waiting for the sky to respond, the old man was serious again. Legend has it that demons are strictly poisoned. I don't care about the face anymore. And he can read from birth. Although the knitting part is not harmful, like to serious and serious monks. But the poison is far beyond the king of medicine. Tongue is a scary guy. But he's still not the scariest. The real monster. The Dragon King of Heaven. The Holy Spirit is also there. One day I saw the other. God's grace grips the sword at his side. His will to fight is now strong. This is not the time. He can only bite his teeth down. The dragon could feel his breath. Oscillating glances of exclamation. This fighter. Do you know how scary the enemy is? I just wanted to fight with the enemy. This guy is obviously a brute. Not thinking about the big event. This moment, he really doesn't know how to ally with this guy. Is it a blessing or a curse? At the same time on the opposite floor. Hong Fu Then Thien proud. Sitting in the electric chair, I didn't even look at the ring. Absolutely no AI in the eye. Now he said calmly. So far that mortal has not appeared. The wind came right up and looked at him. Laughing flattery, Grand Prince, you've been dying to get out, haven't you? However, the Holy Father is not happy with it. His flattery. Smiling a cold word. Lam Ful Feng, it is best that you pay attention to your words. There's no one in this world worth doing. There are only some who deserve to be destroyed. I just want to see. Does he deserve to die in his own hands? If he doesn't have that quality, let them handle it for you. The wind suddenly trembled and nodded, nor dared to speak up. The other two in my heart laughed endlessly. This guy is normally smart. Unfortunately, this time the horse was not at the right time. Again scolded in reverse. I know to people laughing. I was in deep anger for a while. Again, asked the Lord. Or to create. Let's go find some lost people. If that mortal is here, surely he will show up. If you're not there, definitely. You can go. His word is not over. The Lord seems to understand. Slowly nod your head. You to go too. Maybe 6 long will clash soon. Clear. You to look at each other. Then he disappeared without seeing it. Waiting for them to leave. This place is the only place left. There was a deep light in his eyes. Mouth slightly tucked, said, "Before, unscrupulous people will not say a word. It's like flipping a boat in a ditch. A man in the war. Stifle the germ from the egg. It's really safe. I would love to see you, maybe." "290 to cause trouble." Now in the audience. People around horror. Look at the 2 billion heritages who stare endlessly. But they don't care either. Follow 10 teenage bodyguards down the ring. The governor took them. I look at 2 people who are a little tired. The young lady's voice was soft. He turned to the guards behind him to praise him. "You show NDTO today. I will reward you." 10 teenagers behind are praised nor arrogant. Gently nodding her head. There are no changes on the face. The sea is panting. They couldn't help but applaud the governor. "What kind of training are you after all?" These guards. At a young age, I was so shy. Even in the army that poisons her. You can't meet people like that. The leader laughed softly for 2 hours and said, "Good or good?" "Young master, you don't know. These guys are all trained by the old man. According to the butler tracks method. According to him. Every military leader has to fight. But bring them to the big moment. You can risk your life for loss at any time. But it's not over yet. Suddenly react in time. Slightly startled, silent glance is common stool. She is sitting there silently now. His face showed a little pain. 2 hands clasped, all the shivering. Looks extremely pitiful. I see that the sea is very aggressive. The leader glanced a little. Let's talk about resentment. Parents talk about training methods. You said something deadly. State leaders know how to laugh for an hour. Aggressive slapping mouth couple. Angry scolding. It's all because of my eagle's rotten mouth. It hurts the old lady again. This is the leader. Don't he do that? I don't he blame you. Look at your actions. Hurry to stop. Finally sighed again 5 years ago. There's no news of him. He said he was sure he was still alive. But his gestures. He doesn't seem sure about that either. What if he was still alive? It's been pretty quiet until now. Let's go. Maybe the old man has been waiting outside for a long time. Compelling the sadness in your heart. It's a reward. Order everyone to leave. This moment. She wanted to prove to everyone that strangers have enough power to fight in the 100 kingdoms of men. So no matter what, you also have to take the lost to the final battle of the 100 kingdoms. Fulfill the will of the most precious track. The captain and the captain looked at each other. She shook her head, laughing behind her. Just for a moment. 3 people brought 10 guards. Go out the door. There was a loss there early on. The great elder dragged the sky, carrying the apocryphal hordes waiting. Van High congratulated the two on winning 23 times. To embrace the right to say happily. The prize is to frown for a moment and laugh again. Drag Uncle. Uncle is outside. We also heard the news of our victory. The sky is laughing openly. His face was filled with joy, that's obvious. There's a lot of applause. I've been listening to a bottle of beer these days. Can you make a mistake? People often look at each other and laugh. Finally towards the abode of the peanut to go to. Just go and have fun. So, Uncle, if you can even bottle tie. How about changing it to another sound tomorrow? Don't you feel like that sounds comfortable? Ha ha. Look at the lost man. People around you can't help but complain. It is a black code name with real. There are more than 20 of them. There were 10 teenagers competing. It's not here anymore. Everyone is this strong. It's true that the other 3 families can't match. But people don't know. There's only one code in front of you. Strangers join today. Only those who are known by others. And the trump cards are really located in the land of the lost. It's not the time to show up in front of everyone. Right now. A wine-tearing sound echoed the laughter of Peanuts. Stool often suddenly silent, slightly startled, hands touching his head. Face transformation. The sky looked at her so often. Is a small frown, or say tram. I can't see my headband anymore. Did you drop it somewhere? Lost in the sea. Look around. A little loud yelling. Everybody, listen up. My brother's brooch is nowhere to be seen. Everybody find help. Everyone dropped their heads to the ground and searched. But I can't find it either. And there was a strange laugh. Ha ha ha. A bunch of idiots. What you are looking for is here. With laughter looking back. You've seen a teenager with a shirt in his hand. Holding a small prick. Smiling and looking down. Distractions often also bring the eyes. Look at the brooch in his hand. The whole business says. That's the brooch. He looked at the teenager in front of him. Terrified to speak. Piercing lamb pharmacolong's pleasure hentai lamb whole room. Just said out. People immediately looked at the teenager in horror. You can meet one of the 6 most famous people. Through the forest at this time. In the blink of an eye, everyone's face immediately stopped. His eyes slowly dropped. Lam Ful Fung glanced at Van High lost. The tiger is the 5th. The tiger has followed the lonely old man for 5 years. It's true that a little bit of knowledge can recognize me. Of course, we're in the 5th. But women only protect famous people. Of the great powers of the universe. Stop the nonsense towards him screaming. Like you. What do you mean by that? Don't forget this dragon. During the 100 years of Min painting. The great powers are not allowed to cause trouble at will. You stood in our way today. Do you want to fight the ban? By the lone martial Ra. The whole wind laughed softly when he heard this. pouting with contempt. Ha ha ha. Don't take that old man's title. The prince is not afraid. You know why that old man? It's about the characters of the great powers in the sky. Number. It is to make you clear. There are people he can't touch. He's reminding you to be careful. What about that ban? Just ban the ordinary world. It doesn't apply to our 7 countries. The eyes suddenly condense. Is that the manure on the face appears the gas? You dare to violate the ban. Wait for me to explain it to the marshal. You will be severely punished. Hey ha, I was naive, the prince said. That old man can't handle us. I can't help but laugh for an hour. It's an hour. Disappear without seeing it. Wait until it shows up again. He appeared in front of me. It's usually close to her. Smell the fragrance on her smile, I said. It smells so American. You will be with the prince one night today. His face suddenly flushed. Is that feces often furiously swing their hands at him? Scold the downstream. It didn't even hit him. In a blink of an eye, he disappeared a few meters behind him. People can't even see it. How does he move? The whole forest glanced at everyone. They laughed and said ha ha ha. Then the lost family only has a little bravery. Even one who can touch the flap of the prince's robe. There is no. That's it. I also dare to show my arrogance. In Vanlong City. Where do we go up? The sky can't help but shout out the lead. His current cultivation Vi is the 5th heaven. In the blink of an eye in front of the entire forest. Scream out a loud cry. But the wind is not afraid. Calm down and stand there. Listen to a moment. The sky is so close in front of him. He is the only. It's a trick of the sky. Smiling softly, he spoke so slowly. Finally lift the stone leg towards the belly of the thunder. Kick him out. The sky directly bears one of his feet. Immediately spat out a large sip of blood. At the same time, the 24 angels also fell to the ground. Misfits often see this. Worried, yelling at uncle. He looked down at the people on the ground. Pouting with contempt. Too slow to lose my son. It's been a whole round. 293 Long Fuang War. Is the dung. I watched my people fall like shit on the ground. He looked at the entire forest without any damage. Standing there, his face dropped. He's too fast. He is known for his speed. I didn't know he could be so fast. It makes people angry like this. It's really out of time. The power of 6 Long, it's basically not something that they can deal with. The only one who can right now. It's not here. He looked at the lost people in front of him. In his eyes flashed a ray of laughter. Soon Tian Ma Long is really dead. If not, if a situation like this doesn't even exist, it is. The turtle withdrew its neck. This word just ended. Everyone immediately trembled. The prize finally understood. They are the most likely target. They think he's hiding. That's why we use this kind of method. FY show up. It's a shame he's not really here today. Suppress the suffering in your heart. Is that the bite award goes towards?